calling. I said I love you forever. We can make it together. Yeah, yeah. When things go wrong, it's easy to sing a sad song. Seems like nothing comes for free, yeah. And it won't take love. Your fragile soul will soon be strong. I'll carry you so tenderly. What I wanna say is that I stand by you when you're falling, when the river is calling. I said I love you forever. We can make it together. Breaks my heart seeing you struggle with the things you do, carrying the one on your shoulder. When did we become so much older? Now I wish I could say that all my trouble's gonna blow away, but I won't quit until it gets better, even if it takes me forever.
Burnout is real. You've got to reignite and burn bright, and you got to choose that every single day. Maybe you got to choose that over and over again 15, 20, 100 times a day. Choose good habits. It's hard. It's really hard, but you got to stick with the good habits to see the good results. Day by day, incrementally, that's how we grow. Hi, I'm Jan. This is 316 Yoga. This is your yoga from home. This is your body too. That's what it says on the bottom of the screen. You know that. It's your body. You listen to it and you do exactly what is right for you. Let the poses feel good in your body. If they don't feel good, if the pose isn't right, don't do it. Back out of it. It's not meant for you. No big deal, but you just got to get in the game. You got to play to win. You just got to try a little bit here, a little bit there, and you just got to move. And that's what you're going to do here on your mat. Move any way you want as long as it doesn't hurt. Word to think about as you practice is the word that was up there earlier, incremental. Incremental. Think of doing things incrementally. It means increasing and adding on little by little in a regular series. So maybe your yoga this year is the thing for you. Maybe your yoga you're coming to every single day. Maybe you can only do it for 10 minutes. That's totally fine. No big deal. Maybe you just make it through the warm-up, but that's okay. But it's an hour-long practice. I practice every single day here, start to finish live. You'll see all the mistakes, but it's just like being in a real class. That's what we were going for. It's not, high tech, cuts and edits and all that. It's just real, just like life, right? It's just real. Some days things work, some days they don't. It's just the way it goes. All right, so enjoy the here and now. Lock a stress number in your mind. On a scale of 1 to 5, 1 to 10, what are you feeling? We're going to come up to standing in just a moment. Grab your regular props, a couple of yoga blocks, a strap. We are going to use a strap today. Maybe a little towel, your eye shade, and some water. You definitely want some water. If you don't have a strap, get a belt to your robe, a jump rope, a dog leash, whatever. But we're going to use this strap. So let's come up to standing now. You got that stress number locked in, scale of 1 to 5, 1 to 10, what's kind of going on. Every day is different. Stress, we all deal with it differently. All right, so let's do our little warm up here. Let's start with this strap. So take the strap, and I don't want that big metal thing to clunk in my face, so I'm just gonna put it in my hand. Lift your strap on up, high up to the sky, kind of wide out your arms, and just give it a good stretch. Root into your feet, chest is lifted, put a smile on your face. Why not? All right, just breathe here. Take a big breath in. And a big breath out. How wide do you want your arms? Maybe it feels better if you kind of hold on to the strap and wrap it around your hands a little bit and then stretch it out. Put it up, bend in your elbows if that feels better. Just enjoy this stretch with that strap. Start to sway from side to side. All right, you're rooted strongly into your feet. We're gonna do some soul searching in a few moments. All right, so it's all about your feet, isn't it? The foundation. We're going to work on those by coming up onto our toes in a few moments, but just enjoy this lateral flexion, sideways movement of your spine a little bit more first. So you're rooted into your feet. You might want to have a chair nearby as well for balance. It's all good. You could be seated in a chair right now doing these side bends. Same benefit. Oh, maybe take it good and far, hang out. Bring it on back up as you inhale. Take it to the other side. Now your inhales and exhales should be nice and big. In through the nose and sigh it out through your mouth. Make it audible. Bring your arms back up toward the sky. Take a little baby back bend. So you got that strong arm hold on that strap. Look up to the sky. Push your hips forward. Look up to the sky. Little baby back bend. Doesn't have to be very far. Maybe you want to go more into the shoulders, maybe less. Exhale, fold forward. Fold forward. Tension on the strap, pulling to the sides of the room. Little bend in your knees feels forgiving. We all need forgiveness, don't we? Let the crown of your head hang toward the earth. Let your spine decompress. Let your gaze go between your knees or up toward your belly button. Pull on that strap. Breathe in. Big sighing breath out. Let your belly button go towards your what's that thing? Your spine. When you're ready, roll on up. Keep the arms up, nice and lifted. Let's do that soul searching. Start to come up onto your toes, onto the balls of your feet. Your arms are getting tired. That's okay. And if you want to put them down by your sides, go for it. If you want to rise up on the ball of your feet while holding your hand onto a chair, that's good too. Breathe. Think of your chest lifted up toward the sky. Chest is open, arms are lifted, maybe. It's up to you. And breathe. Nice tight strap here. Come down to your heels, lift your toes up and give them a wiggle. Let your arms float down by your sides. Close your eyes for just a moment. Arms are still strong, but you can have a little bit of relaxation in that strap. Close your eyes, shoulders back and down. Think of something positive that you want to tell yourself in today's practice. Nobody knows what it is, so go for it. Make it a good one. I am wonderful. How about that? I am strong. I can do this. And as you practice today, you've got to begin with an end in mind. Think far ahead, because you know what? That far ahead's gonna be here in a snap before you know it. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out, shoulders soften away from the ears. Let the strap go down to the earth. Just drop it. Let it go. All right, arm swings. Let's begin by circling our arms to the sides of the room. You can get into the shoulders quite a bit, or not so much. Maybe tee out your arms. Excuse me. Do your arm circles. Arm circles to the back of the room. As you're doing your arm circles to the back of the room, add in the knees. Put a little bend in the knees. Rise on up. See, I told you it was live. It's all real. Bend the knees even more. You can do this. Bigger arm circles, perhaps. Think of your swimming. Think of swimming, being in a pool, doing a big backstroke. Take your arm circles in the other direction. Keep bending the knees. When the hands come down, the knees are bent, arms go up, the knees rise up. Breathe. Nice mobility in your shoulders. Hands to your low back, come up to standing. Hands to your low back, push into your low back, look up to the sky, take a baby back bend. Exhale, fold forward. Find your strap now that you're down here. Roll your spine up one vertebra at a time, coming up to standing. Bring your strap into your arms again. Take it in a nice wide, like letter Y, like when we do You Will Look Taller in the arms. Take a baby back bend. Let the arms go back, 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 and then take a forward fold. Pull that strap to the sides of the room. Fold forward. Come on back up. Maybe the arms go farther back this time. Come on, fold. Come on back up. If this is feeling kind of virtually impossible, maybe widen the hold on that strap. Let the arms go back, back, back. Maybe the strap touches your backside. Bring it on back up. Let it touch your belly and let it push your belly back as you fold forward. Back up again. Find that shoulder mobility. Come on down. So you're moving quite a bit in the shoulders. Hold on to that strap. Nothing wrong with widening the grip on the strap. And if you don't want to hold the strap, totally fine. Hello, Betty. Hello, Diane. Hello, Tyrone. Marietta. You've got snow. I'm sorry. Hello to Liz. Hello to Tina. Hello to Rena. Hello, Arena as well. And Larry. I'm happy to see you practicing your yoga. All right, let's finish here. How do your arms feel? How do your shoulders feel? No rush, no hurry. Drop the strap again. Arms down by your sides, big coat swing. Sway from side to side. Let your arms tap your hip, your back side. Look over one shoulder than the other. Just think of increasing this twist in the waist. Shoulders are loose, away from the ears. And when you're ready, we'll take it to a ragdoll pose. You can do a really good ragdoll today because your shoulders are all loosened up, right? Hands to opposite elbow creases, hinge forward. Let your feet be a little wider than hip width distance. Maybe take your two fists down here and measure between your big toes. That's about hip width distance. Little bend in the knees feels good. Hands back to opposite elbow creases. Let your gaze go down toward your knees or up toward your belly button. Little bend in the knees. Sway gently from side to side. Here's your ragdoll. Loosen up the low back. Take your yoga off of your mat. What that means is when you're not here practicing throughout the day, do this pose. Take it off the mat. Do it when you're off the mat, not just practicing your yoga on the mat. When you sit for a long time, and you sit for a long time, stand up periodically and do this pose, ragdoll pose. It loosens up your low back and helps prevent back trouble. Come back to the midline of your body. Place your hands down on your mat. Come on down. Let's do a child's pose. All right, child's pose allows you to get into your head, to just think about for a moment what you're doing here. All right. You came up with a mantra. Remember that? You said something really positive about yourself? Think about it again for a moment. Knees together, big toes touching, tops of your feet on your mat. Hips go back towards your heels. Maybe you use a block to bring the ground up to you. Use the block at whatever height feels right for you to feel elongation in your spine. Arms down by your sides, shoulders away from your ears, palms up. So you're kind of in a tight little roly-poly ball here in this child's pose. An option for you would be to spread your knees wide, bring your big toes to touch, send your hips back to your heels here, or as close as you can get them. And same thing, either use the block or don't use the block. This time you're going to reach your arms forward. But the same sensation you get in both poses. Lengthening of the spine is what we're after. We did all those nice shoulder circles with the strap in our warm-up, so maybe today you can lift your arms to the top of the mat. Knees spread wide, hips touching your heels, or hips back towards your heels, allowing your bottom to touch your heels. Take a deep breath in. Sigh it out, let it go. This is your child's pose. Come back to it anytime you want. While you're here, close your lips and breathe in and out of your nose. Feel what that feels like. That's Ujjayi Pranayama breath. If you like that, let's continue with that type of breathing for the rest of your practice. If it doesn't work for you, just breathe, but breathe deeply. Drink in the goodness and reignite. And exhale to send out anything you're thinking that just doesn't serve you well. Stop with the negative thoughts. Get out of those ruts. Take a deep breath in And a deep breath out. All right, let's do something that feels really good for the back. Let's bring our forearms down to the mat. Bring your knees in or out, depending upon which variation of child's pose you took. And just adjust your knees so they're kind of, sort of under your hips. Then let your chest melt to the earth. Let your tailbone go up to the sky as you press into your forearms. Maybe slide your forearms more forward and just imagine your chest coming down. Picture a playful puppy with its tail up in the air, ready to play. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Get your chest a little closer to the earth, or, a great opportunity to use the block. Think of the blocks as making the ground closer to you. That feels pretty good. Give it a go. Nothing wrong with using blocks, half-size blocks, full-size blocks. Putting a towel under your knees if that feels good. You want to make the yoga work for you. You want it to feel super good. What you want to feel here is kind of lengthening in the spine and a compression of the spine. Like when we do cow pose, kind of the same thing. Tailbone up to the sky, but this is taking it nice and deep. Let's come out of this little puppy pose. Let's come into a neutral tabletop. So bring your knees under your hips, shoulders over your wrists, and then turn your hands so your fingers are back towards your knees. We're gonna do this forearm stretch. All right, wiggle your hips. That puppy's wagging its tail sideways this time. And feel, here's what you're going for, this feeling of stretching in the forearms. So it doesn't matter how it looks. Maybe you got a big sway going on, or maybe no sway at all. It doesn't matter how it looks. What matters is how it feels in your body. So send your hips back more toward the back of the room. Let your forearms enjoy that nice stretch, maybe side to side. Like you've been typing a lot on a typewriter or keyboard. I said typewriter because I'm looking for a typewriter. I want to buy an old-time typewriter like my dad had. I want to buy a Royal typewriter. So I've been looking on eBay. All right, so I'm stretching out my forearms so I can play on that typewriter. All right, let's finish up. Come out of this pose. Oh, you got the tingles in your fingers. Wiggle your fingers, let it go. And maybe sit back on your heels. All right, so let's finish up here. Tuck your toes underneath and sit back on your heels again. Guess what? You just transitioned to toes pose. Talked about the foundation early, talked about soul searching the soles of your feet. Really working on the foundation so your feet have greater mobility. All right, so shoulders back and down. Hands can be on your thighs or to prayer center. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Enjoy this toes pose. Now you could use your blocks here too, no problem with that. Bring them by your sides and you can rest your hands on there if that makes you feel more stable. Here's a big pose. This is a big pose. If it hurts, come out of it. If it's just uncomfortable, hang with it. You can do it. All right, let's go to an ankle pose just to feel the counter pose here. Bring the tops of your feet onto your mat. Walk your blocks back and have a seat on the tops of your feet. Let your knees come up, but keep them together. And just find your balance here. Don't worry how it looks. You're trying to balance on the tops of your feet here. Does that feel good? I hope so. You can use your hands to bring them back a little bit and lean even farther back. How does that feel? And remember, those blocks are bringing the ground up to you if you want. I'm going to go back to a toes pose. Stretching out the feet. Breathe, hands however you like. Soften in the toes. Maybe take it back to your ankle pose. Again, think of the mobility you're creating in your ankles. So all of you that are shoveling snow today or have to go out and get your mail, think of the strength in your ankles and your feet that will help you, keep you stable and help prevent you from slipping. You can catch yourself when your feet and ankles are strong. All right, I'm gonna go back one more time to toes pose just to take it to the max for me, just so I can stretch it out here, knowing I'm not gonna stay long. You can do it. You just gotta move, you just gotta do it and enjoy what you do. Don't fall into that day-to-day oblivion of directionlessness. Focus on what you're doing. Set your goals to move every single day and do it. Enjoy what you do. Work every day toward that goal to do a little bit more. All right, let's come out of this. Put your hands down, shoulders over your wrists. Lift your feet up, squeeze and scrunch your toes, circle your ankles about, and then tap the tops of your feet out on your mat. Place your feet on your mat. Time for cat-cow. All right, cat-cow, we do this a lot. You're in a neutral tabletop. Your back is flat. Push into the earth. That's a key part here. Press into the tops of your feet. Take a deep breath in. Find length in your spine. And a deep breath out. Let it go. Your back is flat. The crown of your head is reaching to the front of the room, and your tailbone is going to the back of the room. When you're ready, we'll do cat. Tuck your chin to your chest as you take a big exhale. Tuck your tailbone under and arch your back up to the sky. Don't forget, push into your hands and the tops of your feet. There's your cat pose. Inhale, cow. Remember how you felt in puppy? Kind of the same thing you're going for in your back. Crown of the head lifts and your tailbone lifts. Think of the neck mobility that's going on here too. Cat on the exhale. Cow on the inhale. Move your neck. Tuck. Think of a string from your nose to your belly button, getting shorter, shorter, shorter. And then lengthen it. Lengthen as you come into cow. Breathe. Maybe you sigh it out a few times. And come back to your deep breaths. Focus on you. Nothing else matters right here, right now. Let this be your time. It's not selfish, it's self-care. Come back to your neutral tabletop. That was your cat-cow. Let's take it to bird dog. Lift your right knee up. Lift it up, up, up. Knee to about hip height. Dial your right hip down so your hips are equidistant to your mat. Extend your right leg long and then draw your toes toward your shin as you drive the heel to the back of the room. Left arm reaches and stretches forward. Press into your foundational limbs here. That helps you stay stable and helps you do this balancing pose. If you would like, bend your left elbow and your right knee and have them touch underneath your belly button. And then stretch it out. Stretch it out really good and far. Tuck it under, touch, and then stretch and reach. Maybe one or two more times. You do what feels good for you. Take one last big good stretch. Lengthen in your spine. Hand down, knee down, other side, other opportunity to excel. Lift your left leg up. Extend the left leg long. Draw the toes towards your shin. Dial the left hip down. Maybe this is right where you stay. Perhaps you add in the right arm. Stretch, reach, thumb up like a hitchhiker. Fingers spread good and wide because they can. Stretch, reach, find length. And then exhale, tuck. Elbow toward the knee, it doesn't have to touch. And then reach. And then tuck. You're getting good at this. You're pushing hard into your foundational limbs. It keeps you nice and stable. Tuck. One last big, good, long, strong reach in your bird dog pose. Stretch. And then hand down, knee down. You've got it. Let's take a wide-legged child's pose. Knees spread wide, big toes touch, hips back to your heels, and reach your arms forward. You know, everybody wants quick, radical changes. They want things to happen fast, but small things, small changes build good habits in you. And those tiny little changes, those tiny little habits that you're establishing, like doing your yoga every day, leads to remarkable results. Breathe in, breathe out. Let's come on up and let's try something remarkable. All right, and that is plank. You knew it was coming. Every day we do a plank pose. You do it your way. You can totally do plank because you do it your way. We're gonna hold it for 1 minute. We set a timer. The timer is there if you want to just measure your progress, those tiny incremental changes that lead to radical changes. All right, so here's the way you can take your plank. I've said this a lot. You can lie on your back, send your hands up to the sky, maybe hold on to your blocks as you're lying on your back, and imagine those blocks on the ceiling are the earth, which is like a 180-degree inversion of your plank pose. You can also do from your neutral tabletop, send your knees back a little bit, come down to your forearms, think puppy pose again, and hinge more weight forward into your arms with your shoulders over your elbows. Breathe. You got it. You can stay right there. You can send your knees back a little more. Maybe that's more of a challenge. But your forearms are parallel to each other and your fingers are spread wide. That's a fine variation of plank. Maybe you tuck your toes under from this position and send your legs up off of the mat as you hold a dolphin plank. Oh, my goodness. I'm going to take a high plank. So take the variation of plank that you like. For a high plank, you'll have your shoulders over your wrists and your legs long at hip width distance. I'm going to come into position, and then Dwayne, set that timer, please. There we go, 1 minute. So I'm looking down toward my thumbs. I'm lengthening through the crown of my head. I'm thinking of energy. I'm reigniting by sending energy out my heels. Press here, hold on, stay strong. This is your plank, your way. You do it exactly your way. We're 15 seconds in. In a high plank, nothing says you can't drop to your knees to take a little break. And if you want, you could also send your hips high and then you pop into a downward facing dog. That is a little bit of a resting pose in your plank. Hold on here. Stay right here. Breathe. We got 20 seconds to go. You can do this. Push into your hands. Lengthen through your spine. Engage your core. Stay long and strong. Don't quit. Don't give up. Keep trying. Hands are spread wide. Fingers are spread wide. Press a little more weight into your thumb and your pointer finger. 8 seconds to go. 5 seconds to go. Hold on, don't quit. You can do it for 3, 2, 1. We are done. Come down to your knees, grab a drink. You did it. However long you did it, maybe you're keeping track of how long you did it, or maybe not. Maybe you know that's a 1 minute break where you can recline. You do what works for you. All right. But plank pose is so good for building strength. Don't quit. Just try. All right. Come on down to your seat. Once you're on your seat, have your strap at about hip height. Let's bend our knees and do some core things. Supta Baddha Konasana sit-ups. Bring the soles of your feet to touch. Have your knees open wide. Maybe hike your heels up more towards your groin. It's up to you. Maybe this is the first day you've ever done yoga. Good on you. Let's lengthen up through the crown of our head and come on back. Take it nice and slowly. You do exactly what you can do and just let it build. You're not going to be an expert on day one. What is an expert anyway, right? Slowly recline. Heels up towards your groin. Fingertips lightly to your temples. Let your elbows open wide just like your knees are. Take a breath in. Maybe a sighing breath out. Let it go. Every pose is a fresh start. Every breath is a fresh start. All right. So once you're reclined here, maybe you stay reclined. We're going to take our chin. Imagine your chin is attached to string up to the sky. Lift your chin up a little bit. Let your shoulders lift. And then come on down. Lift up on the exhale and down on the inhale. Little lifts, little lowers. Maybe you peel the shoulders up a little more today than you did yesterday. Breathe. Nice, tight, strong core. Lifting and lowering, elbows and knees stay open wide. Breathe. And then we'll finish. Come on down. Elbows open wide. Let's do bicycle pose. All right, for your bicycle pose, lots of ways you can take this one too. Bring your knees back to the midline of your body and have the soles of your feet on your mat. Feel your tailbone on the earth. You could lift up in the shoulders and work opposite elbow toward opposite knee. Maybe that's where you want to be today. You can keep your shoulders down, lift your legs up, knees over hips. Maybe keep your hands at your temples or bring them down to your hips. And then ride through your heels like you're riding a recumbent bike. One leg straightens, the other leg bends, and then alternate. There you go. Perhaps you want to put it all together. Fingers at your temples, legs are working, elbows are going toward opposite knees. There you go. Totally fine. Enjoy the variation that you enjoy. Maybe straighten your legs and scissor kick them, letting one leg go up toward the sky, then the other leg comes down to the earth, and alternate. Finish up in your scissor kicking bicycle or whatever variation you took. Bring your feet down to your mat, arms down by your sides, shoulders away from the ears, palms face down. Pop on up to a brief bridge pose. Lift your hips up, push into your mat, tuck your shoulders under your spine. Ooh, you feel like you can go 10 feet taller. Breathe. Stretch it out in your hip flexors. We're doing this early on, and you'll see why in a little bit. We're going to do a lizard lunge. All right, come on down. Roll your spine down one vertebra at a time. Find your strap, and let's do boat pose. All right, so you're going to put your strap underneath your feet. You're going to hold onto the strap like reins of a horse. Shoulders are down. Now you're back. Don't round it. Lift the chest up to the sky. Hug the reins in, hug your elbows in, and lean back as if you were in a recliner. Okay, nice and strong, just like when we use the strap for our arms. The strap is taut, so you feel strong here, you feel supported. You've got it. Maybe a little bend in your knees might feel better, but lean on back and enjoy this boat pose. All right, so you may have thought, oh, I'll never be able to do that, but you're doing it because you think about it. Think about it. Imagine it. Run wild in your mind with it. Imagine it. Think about it. Imagine it. And here you are becoming it. Awesome. You got it. One day at a time. Stay strong. Stay lifted. All right, we're doing it with a strap today. Here's another way you could do it. I'm going to remove the strap. Lean on back, hands behind your knees, and hold it here. A little bend in the knees is fine. It's up to you. Maybe release the hands and hold it here. So boat pose, lots of ways to do it. We do it lots of different ways every different day. Stick with it. Hold on. You can do it. I'm going to bend my knees now. I'm going to crisscross at the ankles. I'm going to come into a downward facing dog as we come into doing some standing poses. So bring your hands down to your mat. Send your hips high. And your body's going to look like an inverted V. You're pressing into your hands. You're pressing into your feet. Press into the balls of your feet. Let your heels be slightly lifted an inch or two off the ground. Think of your tailbone going high to the sky. Press into your hands. If this is too much for your wrists, think about options. You could fold your mat in half. That gives you a little extra padding. You could put a towel underneath your hands. You could ball your hands into fists. This will remind you not to wear rings when you do your yoga. Or come on down to your forearms and take a forearm downward facing dog. Shoulders are over your elbows. Press into your mat with your forearms and breathe. Lots of variations, lots of ways to take it. Start to pedal your feet. One toward the earth and the other. Really get into the hips. Move them. Moving one knee, then the other straightens. Shake your neck as you look back towards your belly button. Finish up. Still your feet. Stretch out the calves. Drive your heels closer to the earth. Push into your strong arms. They're strong because you did plank. Breathe. Walk your feet up to meet your hands or your hands back to meet your feet. Sweep your arms up. Come on up to a standing position. Once you're standing, let's do a tree pose. So right now you're in extended mountain. You're lengthening up through your arms. Softening in the shoulders. Breathe. Remember we did that soul searching earlier? Let's come on up onto the balls of our feet and then come on back down. Rock on up and down. And then we're going to come into tree. All right, you could have a chair nearby, totally fine. Root into your feet, trust your foundation. Take your hands to prayer center, lengthen up. And soften up. Maybe the eyes close for a moment, shoulders are relaxed. Come back to your mantra. Hands are at prayer center. What did you tell yourself? I am, fill in the blank. And it's going to be good. Make it so good. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Tree pose. I'm going to bend one knee. I'm going to open it up to the side of the room. So my legs, I don't know what you'd say. I was going to say like a figure K, but that's not quite right. Like a letter D. I don't know. All right, so heel of the bent foot of the bent leg side goes into the ankle or a little bit higher or higher still. Maybe you bring it up high onto the thigh. Hold on to a chair if you like. Just don't push your foot into your knee. Your knees aren't designed to bend sideways. You can keep your hand on the chair, hand on your hips, or grow your branches. Send one arm up, then the other. Breathe. Focus where the ceiling and the wall meet. Don't look at something that's moving. If you're looking at me, you're going to fall out because I'll probably fall out. Breathe. All right, so think about the outcome. We talked about where we want to be because it's here in a snap. The outcome is a point along the spectrum of your doing things, along the spectrum of repetition. So you're getting to where you want to be. Sway your branches. Bring your hands back to prayer center. Guide the knee to the front of the room. Plant the right foot down next to the left. Balance on one foot. It's a challenge. Some days you balance more than others. Who knows why? Some days you balance better than others. Who knows why? Open up the knee to the other side of the room. Bring that foot up to wherever you like. Press the foot into the leg, leg into the foot. Find your balance. Don't look at me. Find your balance. Look up to where the ceiling and the wall meet, where nothing is moving. Root into that strong foot. Press the foot into the leg and the leg into the foot. Hips are equidistant to the front of the room. I've got to bring my bent knee, side hip back a little bit. Bring your arms up to the sky. Sway the branches or hold that chair. No big deal. Nobody's judging you. Don't judge yourself. Hands back to prayer center. Hold it here. Bring the knee to the front of the room. Plant the left foot next to the right, right foot next to the left. You got it. Sweep your arms up. Bring them into the shape of a letter Y. So you look like the letter Y, right? You will look taller. We're going to do this pose. Arms into the shape of a letter Y. There we go. Press the backs of your hands to the back of the room. That's the magic ticket. Really press the arms back. When you press the hands to the back of the room, you feel your chest lift. Legs are zipped up. You look like the letter Y. You will look taller with this pose. You will look lovely. Let's look at it that way. All right, press the backs of your hands to the back of the room. You will look terrific. That's better. That takes care of the T. Bring your elbows down so your arms are like the letter W for will. Press the backs of your hands back. Squeeze and strengthen all those muscles along your spine. You will, 2 L's. Backward and forward, you will look. Press those elbows in. Forearms are parallel to the earth. Breathe. Tee out your arms for the word taller or terrific. Pulse your hands to the back of the room. Chest is lifted. Feels good in the shoulders, feels good in the chest. Let's do it again. You will look. T for taller, pulse them back. Again, you will. Tight squeeze. Think of really finding strength in the upper back. All those muscles. L, forward and backward. T for taller, pulse it out. Arms float down by your sides. Give a little space between your legs. Arms down by your sides. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Shoulders back and down. Think of your good posture. Think of what that pose did for you. It's strengthening your upper back. Shoulders are back. No rounded shoulders. How many of us round our shoulders? Oh, so many people do. And it's not just older people, it's younger people too, because they're on their phones too much. Shoulders back and down. Chest is lifted. Excellent posture. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. I think you need to put your hands back at prayer center right now and tell yourself that mantra. Breathe in. Breathe out. Maybe it is, I am a winner. I am a champion. I am not a quitter. I have got this. Positive trenches in the mind. Get rid of the negative ruts. Arms down by your sides. Let's do Pasarita Padahastasana and then horse. Remember that? All right, so you're going to spread your legs wide, good and wide. Think of how when you do a seated forward fold. Pinky toes are toward the short sides of your mat. Tee out your arms. Let your chest be lifted. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, hollow out your belly. Keep your arms at shoulder height. Your arms are strong. You will look taller. And you did planks. Once your chest gets to level and you start to look back toward the back of the room, take your hands and grab your calves. Hold on to your calves. Use the leverage here and fold even more. Look back between your legs. Little bend in your knees might feel good. Breathe. Tee out your arms. Slide one vertebra on top of the other all the way back up to a standing position. Let's do horse. Bring your hands to prayer center. Once your hands are at prayer center, maybe the opposite of pigeon-toed. Bring your heels in a little bit. Hands at prayer center. Bend your knees. Keep the outsides of your knees driven to the back of the room. Sink low and stay right here. If you're seated in a chair, you can do this pose because you're seated in a chair. You're just spreading your legs good and wide. Now here comes the horse part. Come on up to your toes if you like. You're in a horse, like you're riding a big old Clydesdale, but challenge it up a little bit. Come onto the balls of your feet and hold them up. As you hold your heels up, sink on down a little bit lower. Focus and stay. Start to alternate heel touchdowns. Touchdowns, heel touchdowns. Lift on up to the ball of one foot, then the other as the heel comes down. So that foundational foot, nice and stable. Move your shoulders back a little bit so your shoulders are more over your hips. Sink a little bit lower, coming up onto the balls of both feet, and then alternate heel touchdowns. Breathe. Ooh, do you ever get a Charlie horse in this? Oh yeah. Sometimes you just gotta come out of it. No big deal. Sink a little lower, maybe on your solid feet, and pulse, and pulse, and pulse. Sink really good and low. Come up really high on the balls of your feet. Hold it here. Now pulse your legs toward the back of the room. Oh, you got it. Let's finish. Feet come down, 5-pointed star. Arms go high, wiggle your hips. Mobility in those hips. Let's find more of it in just a moment. Bring your hands to prayer center. Think that positive thought. Bring one foot to meet the other. And let's go into a warrior three pose. Now you could have your chair at the top of your mat and you could bring your hands onto that chair. I'm going to take a big step forward with my right leg. Then I'm going to hinge the weight into my right leg. Put a little forgiveness and bounciness in that front knee. I'm going to lift my back toes up, dance them on the mat, hands to the hips, hands to the chair, or no chair at all. Reach long and strong. Imagine bringing your body into the shape of a letter T. Hold it. Finish. Hands to prayer center. Left foot meets right. Come up to standing. When you're ready, let's do the other side. So I'm going to step forward with my left foot. Hinge the weight forward on the left leg. Little bit of balance in the back right foot. Hands to either your hips or they reach parallel with each other far forward. Maybe find the chair, lift the leg up, stretch through the arms, find your letter T. Hands to prayer center. Right foot meets left. Come up to standing. How did you do? Let's do the next big hip pose. Hands to prayer center. Sweep them on up, extended mountain. When you're ready, take a big step forward with your right leg. Bend your knees as we come into the lunge here. So come on down, right knee stays over your right ankle. Left knee bends, come on down. If you don't like the arms lifted, bring them to your hips. Come on down, all the way down to that back knee. Come on to the top of the back left foot. Hands to prayer center. Wiggle the right toes, up, up, up to the top of your mat. Hands come down inside your right foot. Wiggle the right foot out. Now you could use a block here, great opportunity to put a block down to allow you to put your hands on it. Now usually when we do that runner's lunge, we send our right toes to the top right corner of the mat, working the shin more parallel. Today, in this lizard lunge, you're going to keep the knee over the ankle, bringing your hands to the block or to the earth, and you're going to press the inner right thigh open. So press against the inner right thigh. Hands down to your blocks or to your mat. Stay here, breathe here. You're strong, you got it. Toes are still pointing forward. Knee over ankle, breathe. Let's switch and take it to the other side. So your hands are pressing strong into the mat. Sweep your right leg back to meet your left and pop on up to that down dog. Pedal it out and breathe. Lift your left leg high. Sweep it through. Bring it outside your left foot. Come on down to your knee. Hands in between, inside of the left foot. Right leg long and strong and straight on your mat. Use a block to place your hands on. Left ankle, left shin stays nice and straight so the knee is over the ankle. Press into your block at whatever height you like, or press down into your hands. Right leg is long and straight on your mat. Press your forearm or your bicep, tricep into your left leg, opening it up a little bit more. Breathe. You got it. We do surfing a lot in the practice. It's just a little variation. So you've noticed that when we surf on those blocks, which might be a more comfortable pose, it kind of opens you up for this. You got it. Totally good. Totally good. All right, let's tuck our back right toes, press into your hands, send your left leg back to meet the right, and pop on up to a downward facing dog. Pedal your feet a little bit this way, a little bit that way. You got it. Still your hips, push into your hands, tailbone high to the sky. Your feet, walk your toes a little more forward, and then spread your feet a little more to the sides of your mat. Maybe now you can bring your heels down. Play with that a little bit. Either widen your stance or bring them closer to your body, but work toward bringing your heels down. Keep your tailbone high and lifted. Feet become flat on your mat. Big breath in, big breath out. As you're ready, work your feet back in and back toward the back of your mat a little bit and pedal it out here. Still your feet, come high onto the balls of your feet, hinge forward like you're going to do a plank in your arms. Just hinge forward and then come on back. All right, let's try this if you want. Flip your feet so the tops of your feet are on your mat and hinge forward, shoulders over your wrists and hold. Come on back a little bit. And then flip your feet back to a natural position so the balls of your feet are on your mat. Stretch it out, pedal it out, walk the dog. Finish up, still your feet. We're gonna hinge forward like doing a high plank, but we're gonna immediately come down to our bellies. So just give it a go, give it a try. You're not gonna stay in plank long. Hinge forward, shoulders over your wrists. Come on down, all the way down to the earth. Take it slowly or quickly, whatever it takes to get there. Bring the tops of your feet down on your mat. Hands are underneath your collarbones. Take a deep breath in, hug your elbows in, and a deep breath out, let it go. Now, zip your feet up, cobra pose, Bhujangasana. For your cobra pose, push the tops of your feet into your mat like we did a moment ago. Lift on up in your chest, your hands, press them into the mat, or press just your fingertips into the mat, or lift a little higher. Lift your hands off the mat. Squeeze your elbows towards your spine. Squeeze your elbows down towards your feet. Breathe, lift, and then finish. Come on down. Turn your head so your left cheek is on your mat, and your arms come down by your sides. Let your palms be face up. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Bring your head back to the midline of your body. Let's think locust pose. All right, here's the variation. We got a lot of mobility in our shoulders from our poses today. Let's lift our arms up behind our back. Let them interlace, fingers interlace. Bring my chin down to my mat. Interlaced fingers. Now my thumb is resting at the great divide back here, down here in your low back. Go ahead and lift them up a little bit off of your back. Now, maybe stay right here. I'm gonna lift up through my chest and my legs as well. Breathe. And then come on down. Release your hands, arms down by your sides, palms face up. Turn your head so your right cheek is on your mat. So we're using the ground to help us in our shoulder mobility. We've turned both cheeks, always good. Turn the other cheek. Bring your head back to the midline of your body. Take your hands underneath your collarbones. Press on up to what we call seal pose. In your seal pose, arms are straightened. I bet you're hugging your glutes really tight. Soften them, loosen them up. And then come on back. Push your hips back to your wide-legged child's pose. Knees spread wide. Sink your hips back. Now you're pushing into your mat. Arms are reaching long because your arms have mobility today. Press harder into your mat. Think of you're trying to stretch your mat from the center, making it a little bit bigger. Push your hips back, back, back towards your heels. Let the crown of your head come down toward the earth. And then finish. Come on up to a seated position. Send your legs long on your mat. Seated forward fold. Arms lift up. Fold in half. Fold in half and reach for your feet, your calves, your ankles, whatever you can reach. Hug your elbows in. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, fold. Maybe you drape your wrists over the tops of your toes, pulling your feet, pulling your toes towards your shins. Maybe that feels good. Come on back up, shoulders over your hips, send your legs wide. You can take a block or two or three or however many. Spread your legs wide. Remember, we did that wide-legged stance when we did the Pasarita Padahastasana, when we were standing, and we did horse. Remember that? So let's just fold again. You got the block between your legs if you want. You can put your hands on your block and rest your head. Put your elbows on your block. Hands to prayer center, say your prayer. Fold forward to whatever feels comfortable. We're not here long. Let's come out of this. Legs together. Let's recline. All right. Come all the way down to your mat. Bend both knees. Lift up your right leg and bring the outside of the right ankle onto your left thigh. So figure four, all right? So push into that inner right thigh. Left leg lifts. Hands can interlace, fingers behind the left knee, low on the hamstring. Drive the outside of the right knee toward the front of the room and hug the knee in. You could use your towel here if you feel like your arms are a little short. Now you can also take your hands and you can put them underneath the knee on the shin, or use that towel. I think it feels kind of nice. Shoulders down, hug it in. Hug it in, give it a good squeeze. Draw the right toes toward the right knee. Nice tight stretch. That flat foot, the one on top, send it a couple of inches to the left and just feel the alteration, feel the changes, feel the good changes in your backside as you wake up all those glutes. Left foot down, right foot down, switch it out. Lift your left leg. Same thing, other side. Put the ankle outside of the left ankle onto the right thigh. Push the inner left thigh open. You know, you gotta like what you do. And the only reason why you stick with something is if you like it. So when you do your yoga, let's lift the right leg up. Hands behind the hamstring, hug it in. Drive the outside of the left knee away. All right, so when you do your yoga, just little difference, little change in the words. Say, oh, I get to do my yoga, not I have to do yoga. Say, I get to do my yoga. All right, I'm gonna interlace my fingers now underneath the right knee, hugging it in, drawing the left toes toward my shin. All right, here's the magic in the glutes and those deep muscles inside, the piriformis muscle. This flat foot, the left foot, which is like stomping on the wall to the right, let's take it a couple inches to the right and feel the firing up in those glutes. Strong arms, strong hug. You've got it. Let's release. Foot comes down, other foot comes down too. Arms down by your sides. Pop your hips up. Bridge pose. Tuck your shoulders under. Lift higher, higher, higher. Interlaced fingers. Let's do them again. Interlaced fingers, but this time instead of the thumb pushing into your bottom like we did in our locust pose, push the pinkies into the mat. Lift high, shoulder mobility. You've got it going on. Release your hands from underneath your back. If you did that, roll your spine down one vertebra at a time. Bring it on down, tailbone comes down, absolutely last, and then release it. Supine twist, left leg long on your mat, right leg bends. Interlaced fingers, hug under the right knee. Circle the ankle. Right, circle the ankle left. Now your left leg, it's long and straight, but draw your toes more towards your shin to get that calf down. Left hand is holding on to your right knee. Let it cross the midline of your body and tee out your right arm and look to the right. Breath in, breath out. Back to the midline, roll onto your bottom. Enjoy the massage as you get here. Hug the right knee in and then release the right leg long. Other side, supine twist. Right toes drawn toward the shin so that calf is down. Left heel drags up, interlaced fingers under the left knee. Circle the ankle this way, circle the ankle that way. Hug it in some more, good and tight. Right hand takes the left knee across the midline of your body. Shoulders stay down as you roll onto the right hip. Left arm tees out and your gaze goes left. Ooh, love it. twist. Remember we started out in our warm-up with that big coat swing? Twisting, twisting. Here's the intensification of it. Taking it deeper, incrementally, making it a little more intense. That's how you get there, one step at a time. Bring your left hip down, interlace your fingers, hug it in good and strong, maybe circle it again and again. Release the left leg down. There's your supine twist. Happy baby, let's squeeze it in good and quick. Drag both heels up, 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 lifting both knees up. Left hand under your left knee, right hand under your right knee. Rock a little bit from side to side. Ananda Balasana. Maybe draw circles on the ceiling with your knees in one direction then the other. Maybe take your hands and capture inside your calves, low, down near your ankles, driving the knees farther away. Maybe reach even farther and grab your heels. Draw the toes toward the shins. And then start to lift one leg then the other. You feel like a frog or a happy baby in its crib, grabbing its feet and lifting the legs higher, higher, higher. All right, let's finish here. Release your hands, knees come together, legs go up to the sky, arms down by your sides. Float your legs down as slow, as comfortably as you like. Tight core, you gotta stay tight in the core. Low back is plugged in. This is an opportunity to really feel how that low back feels plugged in. Lower, 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 your legs, legs, legs. Once you're down, final Shavasana. Eye shade, towels, cover up your eyes to block out the light. Arms down by your sides, feet, heels to the edges of your mat. Let your pinky toes fall toward the earth. Tuck your shoulders a little bit more under your spine. Shoulders away from the ears. Take a deep breath in. And a big sighing breath out. Let it go. Breathe in. Breathe out. Eyes are closed. Just let your body release. Let everything go. Try not to hold on. Soften the area between the eyebrows. And deepen your breaths any way you like. Unclench your jaws if your teeth are touching. And hit the pause on your remote to take a longer final Shavasana resting pose. And when you're ready to resume, just resume. Click the button again, start it back up, reignite. And then take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Maybe sigh it out, let it go. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Circle your wrists and your ankles. Inhale, take a big good morning stretch just like you do in the morning before you get out of bed, and think about your yoga. Think about the movement that you're going to take every day when you do your yoga stretch in bed. Point your toes, reach your fingers, find length in your hips and in your shoulders, that mobility. As you exhale, bring your hands down, bring your knees to a bent position and roll into a fetal position on your mat. Use your low arms bicep as a pillow for your head. Top shoulder softens. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Stay here longer if you want. Now as we get up, you can keep your eyes opened or closed. You decide what works for you. And you can use your hands or not use your hands to make your way up to a comfortable seated position. And what is comfortable? Every day is different. Sit some way that is comfortable for you. Have your shoulders over your hips, hands to prayer center, lengthen up through your spine. Exhale, soften up as you exhale and let things go. Open your eyes. You did it. Congratulations. 1 hour of yoga. Nice job. How did you do? All right, you did great. You stuck around. So your stress number, we talked about that in the beginning. What was it? And now what is it? I know it's come down quite a bit. Oh, that position is not comfortable for me. I'm getting a Charlie horse. All right, so I'm just going to move. All right, so you took your stress number. It's lower now. That's excellent. Excellent. Just remember, take little steps each day toward your goal. That's hard to remember. You got to recalibrate and get back on course over and over and over and over again. Take those little steps every day toward your goal because you know those little steps add up. And before you know it, you've reached your goal. Stick with it. Stick with your yoga. See you on your mats tomorrow. I love you guys. Bye-bye. Take care.